Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Yes. Can y'all hear me on this microphone? This shit been acting up. Check, 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 check. Can you hear me on the microphone? Are we good? How do we sound? Is it in and out? Or is it like, what we doing? Reading. All right. Work. Yeah, I'm doing without the microphone tonight. We ain't gonna have no sound effects and whatnot. I'm sure y'all be all right with that. But clean your XLS cable. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure it out because um I've been traveling and shit with the microphone, going through airports and all of that stuff. So it might be a short. The motherfuckers be throwing bags around and everything. But how do I sound right now? Can you hear me? How's the volume? I've been traveling and shit. How's the volume? Can you hear me through this thing? Let me know. Good. All right, we Gucci. All right. So with that being said, let's get into this roll call. All right, let's get into this roll call and let's see who's in the building. Today, we're doing open call. We're gonna open up the lines and whatnot. I want to hear from the people. I don't have too much to talk about tonight. I wasn't even gonna do the show. I'm very, I'm like knee deep in studying to prepare for the lecture that I got coming up next this Friday in Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to everybody that's been getting tickets and whatnot and hitting me on my inbox. Excited about what we about to go do out there with the Facts Initiative, me and Blue Pill and whatnot. I appreciate y'all. Let me throw this flyer up real quick in case y'all don't know about this is Friday, August 19th, all right? Friday, August 19th, me and Blue Pill will be in Richmond, Virginia. I'll be doing the Facts Initiative 2022, And Blue Pill will be doing the Pill of Prophecies. I need y'all to pull up if you're in the Virginia area. No excuses. Be in the motherfucking building. We got a lot of information that we want to share. If you're about solutions, you know what I'm talking about, and not just bumping your gums and sitting around worrying about what everybody else is doing, then this is for you. If you want to sit around and gossip and debate and, you know, and D-Rod all day, then this ain't, please stay far away because this is not for you. You know what I'm talking about? We dealing with solutions and we dealing with people that's doing shit. You know what I mean? We get into the solution of things. All right, so let me do this roll call. Denver's in the building. Shout out to Denver. Mississippi's in the building. Shout out to Mississippi. Portland is in the building. Macon is in the building. Stone Mountain, Georgia's in the building. I see you. All right. Flatbush, East 19th, Wagwan. DC is in the building. Wagwan, DC. Shout out to DC. St. Croix, blah, Christiansted. All right. Kansas City, Delaware. All right. Christiansted, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, Wagwan, Crucian Brethren. Fort Worth, SC, all right. BX in the building. Shout out to the BX. It was really good. Brooklyn, stand up. Harlem, Spartansburg, SC, Richmond. Brrr. Will it be Gold Water products there? Yes. Yes, they will. Blue Pill will have Gold Water in the building. Fort Lauderdale in the building. 757 Norfolk in the building. I need you to pull up. If you're from Norfolk, Virginia, I need you to pull up to Richmond. Come and show love to your brothers and whatnot. We in the building. We VA. Brrr. All right. Wisconsin, Brooklyn, Austin, Bama. Let's see. Beantown. All right. Was really good, Beantown. Bama was really good. NYC was really, really good. All right. DC on Sunday, which is the 21st, will also be in PG County, which is close to DC. We'll be in Capitol Heights at a restaurant called Everlasting Life from the hours of 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., I believe. Pull up. All right. This in Richmond, Virginia, this is from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. I will be coming on to do my Thugizzle 5:30. So if you're pulling up, don't pull up late. I'll be, you know, you might pull up and I'm finished and whatnot. So I'll be going on at 5:30. We got Sauce Guard in the building, Red and Blue Pill in the building, Sir Bay in the building, and a few other luminaries. Come and enjoy this weekend coming up. Let's close out the summer properly and whatnot. I don't even know where the fuck the summer went, to be honest with you. This shit was like this. Chicago in the building, Denver in the building, Ohio in the building. All right. DC in the building. There's a lot to talk about. I've been doing my research on the Facts Initiative, and man, sometimes it gets frustrating because, you know, I do a lot of research. I come across a lot of information, and sometimes I can't help but to, you know, to like fantasize or use my imagination and be like, damn, what kind of world would we living in? What kind of world would we be living in if everybody was on the same page? You know what I mean? Like if everybody was basically tapped in and, you know, people were taking this shit serious. You know what I mean? Where would we be if we were working as a collective where, because I get the information, but it's like I put it out there and I don't think the people are ready for it because not much gets done and the shit is frustrating because it's like, if only we would be more action oriented. And when I say action oriented, motherfuckers think that it's about a revolution or something violent or some stupid shit. And it has nothing to do with that. It's really just labor. It's really just, you know what I mean? Coming together, and doing something like putting your resources together or getting into some type of training, tightening up your skill set, and then becoming a value to your either your community or your circle. Simple shit, bro. You know? But that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna harp on that. I'm just sharing with y'all some of my shortcomings and with some of the frustrations grow from. You know what I mean? Like stagnation is debilitating to me. You know what I mean? Like I need movement in my life. And shit just be kind of stagnant where I'm look around, you know? It's very repetitive, very repetitive. This community is like, it's like they just want trauma and drama. You know, it's almost like they're allergic to change. They don't want to do, a lot of people don't want to do what needs to be done, you know, but whatever. So what we're gonna do today on this show is we're going to I'm on Zoom, so I don't even know how to bring y'all niggas in. Let me see. I don't even know. Let me see. Is there a way that I could drop the link? I'm trying to see if there's a way that I could drop a link in the chat room to whereas y'all could basically pull up to the Zoom. So I'm trying to figure that out. Let me figure that out and I'll let you. And let me see. Give me 1 minute. Enough about me though. How's everybody out there doing? What's really good? How was y'all weekend or your strong end? Um, Me, I'll share my weekend and whatnot. I had a very good weekend. Me and Blue Pill, we got to see some of our childhood heroes from the rap world. I got to meet Diamond D, right? I don't know if anybody's familiar with Diamond D, but for the people, especially if you're from New York, if you belong to hip hop, if you one of those students of hip hop, then you're familiar with the producer Diamond D and his contributions to the culture. And I got to meet the Beat Nuts, and I got to see Brand Nubian performing, Grand Puba, Sadat X, and Lord Jamal. And you know, sometimes you forget how dope your childhood was. Because yeah, digging in the crates, right? Yes, digging in the crates. Diamond D, right? Sally got a one-track mind. He didn't perform. He was the Beat Nuts is he was presenting the groups. I guess the Beat Nuts and Brand Nubians are tied into Diamond D, but he was there. Me and Blue took a picture with him and dapped it up with him and talked to him briefly. Got to chop it up with Brand Nubian, Grand Poobah, and it really felt surreal because they recognized me and Blue Pill, right, for the works that we doing and whatnot. But these are the same people that, were some of my teachers when I was growing up. Like Brand Nubian made me want to be righteous when I was a teenager, right? When I was a impressionable age that some of the teenagers are these days, where they don't have a Brand Nubians, they don't have black men calling themselves God, you know what I mean, and God body or teaching the truth to the young black youth. They don't have shit like that. You know, they kind of stuck right now. So we had an advantage over the younger generation of today. Yeah, they got woke and conscious, but I really don't know what to say about that at the moment. You know, when I was 13, 14, 15, They had God bodies making music, Wu-Tang Clan, King Asiatic, Nobody Equal, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim Allah. I go through this many times, and you know, Nasir Jones, Nasty Nas, when he was dropping the knowledge, man, that shit kept us balanced. Tragedy, Gaddafi, that shit kept us very balanced. Even though we were, you know, into criminality and whatnot, it still helped us with our savagery. Because I said this to somebody, and I'm gonna say this to y'all. We underestimate the power of ideas and concepts, right? Like on on the episode that I did on higher level conversations, and I've touched on this on lectures, and I spoke about this as well on Brother Rich's platform and on Melanin Mondays when I talked about egregores, right? Egregores, which are thought forms, right? Which are really life forms, okay? Group think, right? Group think. That's why our people, right? Our teachers, like Professor Griff, right? Like our master teachers, right? They pointed out agendas in their teachings. They will point out the agendas because agendas have a lot to do with narratives, right? So over the past 10 years post Barack Obama, the agenda that was most prevalent was the demasculation of the Black male and also the pushing of a certain type of agenda. That agenda is considered to be an egregore. It's a group think. That group think has kind of like swept the minds of our children, even all the way up to the adults and stuff like that, right? So ideas and concepts are some of the most important things because those are that's the program that's running our people. It's the ideas and the concepts. That's why war is 90% propaganda, right? So back in those days, when I because I was this was coming to me as I'm listening to Brand Nubian rap. Why do I say that? Because when I listened to the rhymes that they were reciting, right, at the age that I am now, versus when I was a teenager, I completely understand everything that they're talking about. Do you know when I used to listen to Slow Down, right? Y'all old heads, y'all know what Slow Down is by Brand Nubian, right? I didn't understand everything Sadat X was talking about in his first verse. And if for context, if anybody's out there don't know what I'm talking about, Slow Down, the first verse is about a woman who turns into a crackhead, right? So there was certain things, there was certain words that he was saying, and there was certain terminology that he was using. And I was kind of like, I wasn't necessarily on top of everything. I told myself I understood what he was saying, but one, I never experienced it prior to that because I didn't sell crack. I wasn't a crack dealer and I didn't smoke crack. And I didn't have people that was mad close to me that was on crack when that song came out, right? That came later on down the line. So I didn't really understand everything that I was hearing in all of the raps. There was some shit that Coogee Rap will rap about. I was like, I think I know what he's talking about. There was certain things that certain rappers were about. I would convince myself that I knew everything that I was hearing, but I didn't have an overstanding of everything. Now, when I'm hearing the music, I have an overstanding of it. I'm like, damn, that shit is deep. But there were ideas and concepts. The rappers were putting out, they were at war for our minds and our hearts, right? The billion dollar record labels, right? Like Def Jam, Universal, what's the Interscope and shit like that. They understood the power of the music, right? They understood the power of the music. Why do I say that? Because even in the 1970s, the CIA, by way of Harvard, had put out a white paper talking about that they needed to disrupt Black music, right? Clive Davis was one of the agents who picked up the mantle, and he basically started a division called Black Music and at their record label. I think it was RCA at the time, and they successfully infiltrated and then took over what we know as music, Black music today. They got rid of soul music. They got rid of a lot of the quote unquote original instruments, and now we are where we are today. So these multi-billion-dollar agencies understood the power of our minds, and they understood the power that music has over our minds. And they also understood the power of ideas and concepts. So they understood that the music could be a very effective tool, along with Hollywood, along with the sitcoms, that Norman Lear, right, and all of those other small hats who were basically enforcing stereotypes through the sitcoms and the shows that they were putting out there, right? The Hollywood industry and whatnot, they were solely responsible for putting out slave narratives, slave porn, for putting out dysfunctional narratives, for putting out stereotypes, for bankrolling these coming of age movies about gang culture, right? When a majority of North America, we wasn't even, and I'm from New York, we didn't even have gangs. We had posses and crews and whatnot. Nobody was talking about being in a blood or a crip. But after the movie Colors came out, people were beginning to entertain that idea. And then after the triple whammy of Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, CB4, and then Don't Drink Your Gin and Juice in South Central and Be a Menace. Even though those were spoof movies, right? If you go and watch the fucking movie, niggas became that spoof. Like CB4 is real life now, and so is Don't Drink Your Gin and Juice. If you go on World Star, it's niggas doing more buffoonery than Don't Drink Your Gin and Juice in South Central. But when the movie came out, it was laughable because we was like, nobody is doing no goofy shit like that. When we used to watch Jerry Springer and Maury Povich, when I was young, we would cut school and we drink malt liquor and smoke weed, and we would watch these talk shows. We would laugh, Richard Bay, Ricky Lake, because it was stretching the imagination and it was so far from reality that it was laughable. Fast forward 10 years later, that's the reality, right? Ideas and concepts, right? If it was never introduced, right, to the psyche of a people, you may have never seen it, right, come to fruition in real life. You would probably never see people carry out those behaviors, right? But when it got planted, right? Because you know who picked up and started doing the goofy shit from Jerry Springer? It was younger people, right? And of course, people with weak minds, right? And weak-minded people of all ages and whatnot. But it was really the impressionable youth, right? They decided that they were going to live wayward lives. They decided that they were going to do exactly what the fucking topic was on a Jerry Springer show or a Maury Povich show, when you had a shorty on stage with 20 young men trying to find out who the baby daddy was and whatnot, and they couldn't find who it was. There was a day and time where that was like a spoof. That wasn't even really real like that. That wasn't going down like that in everybody's hood. Now, granted, it might have went down in some people's hood, but it wasn't going down in everybody's hood. So I say all of that to say that we are at war with ideas and concepts. The reason why these young children are out here killing each other at such an accelerated rate is because during the time of 2020, right, and even prior to that, prior to 2020, the minds of the youth were getting primed, right? You know how when you paint a wall, you prime it and whatnot, and then you paint it and then you give it the third coat. So they were still being primed with stuff like, you know, earlier drill music, like remnants of drill music. But if you remember clearly, in places like New York and in places like Compton and in other places, the murder rate and crime was at all-time lows, right? Do you recall that? Or has it been so far gone that you can't even give a fucking recall about a few years ago when we were not experiencing, right, a fucking Holocaust, right? Or we were not experiencing historic spikes in crime. Now, I would go on record to say during the lockdown, right, when people were at home indulging in, you know, whatever it is that they were indulging in, people's morality, or people were basically, you know, pushed over the edge because of this situation that we were going through during the lockdown, right? And the ideas and the concepts of just what life was, right? The importance of life. They was throwing people who died from the C-19, right? They was throwing them in U-Haul trucks. They were desecrating bodies, y'all. They were not even giving them proper burials. So people were witnessing that. People were told during the lockdown, right? You're on your own. You understand? Remember, people stopped going to church. If I was a Bible toting, car carrying Christian, I would have lost all of the faith in the church, because how the hell is the church going to get closed when we needed them the most, right? And the pastor and them was like, "You're really on your own. I'm sorry to say, there's no cure. There's nothing that we could do. Yeah, prayer warriors, you're going to have to pray in your fucking house on Sunday by yourselves, because we can't even be around each other, which negates the power of Christ, or what it is that they were selling you all of these years. How is it that my religion is not stronger than the pandemic? How is it that my religion is not stronger? How is it the church is not stronger than the state? How could y'all dictate that we can't come together? How could us coming together put us in danger when we supposed to be baptized with the blood of Jesus? I wish I had my bombs, right? So that was the first chink, or the first kink in the armor and whatnot. Then the younger generation, the youth and whatnot, they got a second dose, right, of drill music, right? There was an explosion of drill music as a lifestyle, right? Because what Chief Keef and them did in 2012 is not the same as what Pop Smoke and them did in 2020. Let me explain. Pop Smoke, right, and Brooklyn Drill, right, they introduced a lifestyle. I should hook my shit back up. Let me hook my bombs back up. I'm being unfair. Fuck that. We need bombs for this episode. You know what I'm talking about? We need bombs, man. Shit.
To this day, 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 to this day.
Whatever. We'll get back to that, right? Oh, now we got a delay on it. So Pop Smoking them, right? Fabio Foreign and Pop Smoke gave you niggas a dance, right? Look how they dancing to trap, to the drill music now. Chief Keef and them didn't have a dance, right? We didn't have TikTok. They didn't have a dance. Little Dirk and them little niggas don't dance. These niggas in New York dance, right? They gave you a dance. They gave you a Mary Jeans. They gave you an outfit, right? This nigga was hopping out of Phantoms and Ghosts. They gave you certain type of, they gave you a look, right? Designer, we gangsters, we popping bottles, we get fly, we get money, right? We pop bottles, we scammers, right? We hopping out of foreigns and we killing niggas with automatic weapons type shit, right? So you gotta remember, these little niggas is in the crib, right, with no hope. And here comes Pop Smoking them, and here comes Brooklyn Drill and whatnot, and it's giving hope, right? It's giving culture. It's giving lifestyle. So if it wasn't about the ideas and concepts or the egregore, how is it then 6 months later, right, after Pop Smoke dies, he gets killed in February, how is it only took about 6 months for this shit to be global? Not to say that the drill music wasn't global before that, but this new wave of drill music, it took over everything. It took over the Bronx, it took over Harlem, it took over Brooklyn, it took over Atlanta, it took over fucking, it took over mad places. So now everybody's drilling and whatnot, right? So the idea and the concepts, the ideas and the concepts were very strong. And what did it do? It terraformed a whole generation of young Black men and women to do what? To follow the ideas. It almost hypnotized them. So the deaf culture is a hypnotic culture. The beats to the music that they're listening to, the drill beats are hypnotic, like the trap beats are hypnotic. The mantras are hypnotic. Dior, Dior. I'm on, you know what I mean? The hooks are hypnotic, right? It's sticky, right? You saying that shit in your mind and whatnot. You can't stop saying it. It's sticky. So the idea and the concept, that is something as a people that we must focus on. If you are ever to combat anything that's plaguing our people, the root of the cause of what the fuck is going on would definitely be changing the ideas and the concepts, AKA the motherfucking narrative, right? You're going up against multi-billion-dollar corporations who have marketing budgets, who have promotional budgets. They have endless motherfucking resources to throw at our people to put these motherfuckers in bags and boxes, body bags and coffins and whatnot. That's what Universal is doing to this day. That's what Interscope is doing to this day. That's what Warner Brothers is doing to this day. And they do shit and they hide their hands and they act like they don't know what the fuck they doing. But niggas and our people are so fucking slow and dumbed down that you allow these simple ass motherfuckers to get over on us, right? By giving us these bum ass excuses about, I didn't know what was going on. I just signed this guy who said that that he caught 12 bodies and whatnot. I don't know because, I'm impressed with his with his story. No, motherfucker. You're backing this killer, right? You're putting money behind killers. You're putting money behind people who are degenerates. You're putting money behind Black men that are immature, right? Because you could take advantage of them, one, right? Let me get into that in a minute. And two, you are funding the ideas and the concepts that these niggas got, that they're getting famous for, right? Because they'll sign you if you got a buzz. What is the buzz? The buzz means that you basically organically came up with these ideas and these concepts, because what does it look like if they sign somebody like me, right? And I automatically get signed to a label, and then I start talking about killing niggas. You'll be like, oh, the label did that to him. That's not what Pill was on before he was signed. So they got to make sure that they grab a nigga who's on that fuck shit before they sign him, and they just enhance the fuck shit, right? They just put billions of dollars or millions of dollars behind the fuck shit. And what does that do? That helps to perpetuate whatever this idea and concept is, the egregor, right? Gangster rap, drilling, prostitution. They call it what? Pussy rap. You know what I'm saying? Bussy rap, right? You niggas is out here dancing to Santana, and I ain't talking about Dipset. You know what I mean? You know, and all of these other things that are going on. It's the ideas and the concepts. So I'm like, damn, yo, we are really under the quote unquote, we're underneath a cloud. That's why it feels like a black cloud, because theoretically, it's a cloud, it's an egregor, it's a thought form, it's an entity. And that entity continues to evolve or devolve for that matter, right? It evolves, it goes into a lower, it starts out with a low frequency, and that frequency gets lower and lower and lower. So we might have started out with the Jeezys of the world, with the trap rap and T.I. and whatnot. Then it got into the snap rap. Then it got into some other shit. Then it got into the drill. So now it's real life where niggas is getting knocked off. Like I said, there's over 200 rappers that die a year since 2020, 200 plus a year. That's unfathomable. I never heard of no shit like that ever, right? But when when you continue to have a repetitive, right, a repetitive loop of, you know, and then prior to the drill rap, you had 21 Savage, you had the Migos, right? You had Little Baby in them, you know, you had a lot of that preliminary shit that was coming before the hardcore drill, where, you know, you could look at the fucking prison system and the amount of brothers and sisters that got locked up trying to follow the footsteps of the quote unquote, the coke rappers or the bando rappers and whatnot. So there was a whole generation that got football numbers following that shit. I'm gonna get a bird, I'm gonna flip a bird, I'm driving down the highway mad dirty. You know what I'm talking about? I'm kicking down niggas' doors, I'm tying people up, I'm in the bando, I'm selling weight, I'm selling work, hand in hand. Yeah, they cleaned you niggas up for years fucking with that. They've been cleaning up the hood with street sweepers. And now they jamming niggas up with this gang shit, gang activity, and they jamming niggas up with this murder shit, with the drills and everything. So we have to collectively change the quote unquote narrative. How do we do that? How do we change the narrative when we're up against billion-dollar conglomerates, right? You don't even know their names. You can't even, you'll never be able to fucking be toe to toe with the big dogs, the people that are behind the scenes and whatnot. You'll never go toe to toe with them. You're only gonna fight the minions, right? And that'll be brothers and sisters that look like us. Those are the minions. Those are the despicable me's. Those are the minions. That's really as far as, you know, the average person can get to. You're not gonna get to the executives. You're not going to get to the executives. So how do we basically save the youth? How do we change their minds? How do we hypnotize them and make them basically follow our narrative? Because at the end of the day, the name of the game is narrative, right? All right, who controls the hearts and the minds? Nothing else matters. It's about what's the prevailing narrative. You understand? In 2020, for a brief moment of time, we controlled the narrative, right? The streets were controlling shit. When people was out there burning shit down and looting and doing all of that. And I forgot to mention that as well. That was one of the main catalysts that really pushed the youth into the place where they are right now, right? That anger, that pent up rage and whatnot, that fear, that feeling of being powerless because you couldn't do nothing to Shay Whitey and whatnot. You couldn't put no paws and mittens on the European. So, you know, you basically imploded, right? Niggas imploded and folded upon themselves and whatnot and started to look at each other like they hate each other. And as you can see with the uptick in violence, that was definitely one of the reasons behind that. I'm, you know, I'm asking, you know, and I'm not being facetious either. I would really want to know, how do we turn this thing around? Because I understand what it is. You know what I mean? It's these ideas are is permeating the impressionable minds of our men and our women. When WAP came out, right? WAP, right? During the riots, right? Remember that? During the uprising in 2020 summertime, when WAP came out, these sisters went and sat down after that. They was like, oh, we good. We got other things to handle. You feel me? We got other things that we're gonna deal with. This WAP, you know what I mean? We're gonna deal with this WAP, you know what I'm talking about? You know, fuck all of that marching shit. We could get paid for over sexualizing ourselves. We could get some attention, right? We could get this. We could get love because they was like, yo, we, you know, there was this thing about, do white people love us? That's what our people was really concerned. They wanted to be loved. They wanted attention. You feel me? They wasn't that mad at white people. They just wanted to feel like, you know, they were in their good graces and whatnot. And that WAP song kind of, you know, it kind of made them feel like, all right, this is the route that we gonna go. We're gonna sexualize ourselves. We're gonna put our you know, we're gonna show our ass, literally. And we're gonna let these white people fetish over us. And that was a backwards, kind of backhanded way of kind of saying that y'all care about us. You know what I mean? And then, you know, prostitution took off. You know what I mean? Sex working took off. You feel me? All kind of shit started taking off, right? So the idea and the concept of a wet ass punani, right? The idea and the concept of whatever the fuck Cardi B was saying in that song and whatever the fuck Megan Thee Stallion was saying in that song, that egregor or those ideas and those concepts have been hypnotized from grandmothers all the way down to like 2-year-olds, unfortunately. But that's just the world that we live in right now, okay? And that song, right, as you can see, it was on every radio station. Billions of dollars got put into that song. That shit just wasn't popping on its own. It was a push. That song got pushed, right? They didn't push the little baby song about, you know, the socially conscious song. They didn't push that the same way. They was pushing WAP all over the place. And WAP was like a mop. That shit mopped up all of that fake Negro outrage that niggas had. And you know, when the fires got put out and when the tanks rolled off and went home, you know, they left us in these hoods to do what it is that we do. And that was basically implode. And it's a level of programming, of course. I'm trying my best to simplify it just to help paint a picture to let you see that we are being inundated by ideas and concepts that are foreign to us. We don't come up with, this is really not our quote unquote, this ain't even our, these thought forms are not originally ours. It's being given to us. It's being given to us, being handed to us. It's being marketed to us. It's being sold to us. You feel me? None of it is done in good faith, right? There's strings attached to this shit. There's a bottom line that these are numbers that they're crunching. You cannot trust these people at all. You can't even trust your own people because they're compromised at all. They don't even know the errors in their ways. They're so asleep. You know what I mean? They're so brain dead. They're so much in a fog. They're so programmed. I think that the minute a nigga signs a contract, he gets a spell put over him. It's almost like a blanket, and you're never really the same after that. You know what I'm talking about? Some of these slave contracts, some of these contracts that bind the human body, they bind your spirit. They control your image, right? Remember, they control your image and your likeness, right? When they sign you up to a contract. So they're in control of your image. They're in control of your likeness. They're in control of your, basically, you know, your works. They're in control of your intellectual property. They're in control of the shit that you think about when you're thinking about bars and whatnot. They control your melodies. They control your harmonies. They control your fucking dances. If you niggas make a dance, TikTok is gonna take it, and so is Fortnite, and there's nothing that you could do about it. If you do, they control you. They control your merch. I mean, god damn it, bro. The 360 deal, nigga, that's worse than sharecropping. So if they control all of that with just a stroke of a pen, right? And these are wizards and warlocks that are putting these contracts together. Small hats that utilize the Kabbalah and utilize other occult practices to bind you and whatnot. You don't think that that's a spell? There's people who sign contracts and, like, energy-wise, they're never the same. And you be like, oh, they switched up. They went Hollywood on us. These niggas is getting money and they Hollywood. No, that's a lie, because I watch all the podcasts, Drink Champs, $1 Million Worth of Game, Mav Hoffa, what's that called? MEO. What the fuck is Mav Hoffa's one? My Expert Opinion, right? Adam 22, No Jumper. I catch it all. And 85% of the artists that get on these shows, they be talking about how they was broke. You know what I mean? I mean, it's, you know, especially after a few drinks and whatnot, a motherfucker start revealing shit. They talk about not that they was broke per se, but they didn't have what they portrayed. They didn't say that they were dead ass broke, but they will admit that they was hummer stunting and they was faking the funk. And they would admit that they never, like, I was watching a video with Bobby Shmurda, and he was like, he went independent, and as a result of going independent, he was getting he was grossing $10,000 a month. This nigga said he never had $10,000 a month before off of music. I'm like, wait, what? This nigga's getting $10,000 a month off of Zoom, off of fucking doing not even workshops. I know somebody that made like $10,000 doing consultations. What? You didn't make $10,000 a month selling music, my nigga? So you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how cash strapped and how bad some of these niggas really be doing, right? But because, you know, people worship the stars, and, you know, a lot of these artists get shit for free. As you get free clothes, you feel me? You travel for free, damn near. You getting booked left and right to go places. You really don't got to spend that much money. So you could fake it till you motherfucking make it all day. But it's a big facade, and it's coming from the horse's mouth. I just sit back sometimes and be like, well, God damn it, I'm glad that a lot of these artists are proving the points that some of the teachers were trying to teach, because if you didn't hear from them, then you wouldn't even, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers would still be doubting, and they still be doubting. But that's what it be, man. You know? Yeah, they can't read, but keep in mind, a lot of these artists signed when they was 16. That goes back to another thing that I was saying. The reason why the music industry continues to turn back the clock with these artists and whatnot. And two or three things. A 16-year-old's mind is very impressionable. A 16-year-old's mind hasn't fully developed and whatnot. Even when you factor in some of these young geniuses, because Nas was like 16 when he put his album out, right? Illmatic and shit like that. Some of these are prodigies, right? Tupac was a prodigy. They were young prodigies, right? These were considered to be man child, right? They call them a man child. Do I have a moderator in the building tonight? I don't know if the sister Destiny is with us, but shout out to everybody in the chat. If there's any questions, I'll get to y'all in a minute. These are young prodigies, right? However, right, even with the so then the drill rappers of today, right? They're very young. But when Brand Nubian came out, right? Because I'm looking at Brand Nubian and I'm looking at, like, I'm remembering when it came out, 91, 90. These were babies. These were young, these were young, these were young black men. Big Daddy Kane and Bismarck and them, they was young. Special Ed was young, right? They were considered, when we looking at these 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds popping out now, we like, yo, we be like, damn, these are some young kids and whatnot. But we have to factor in that when our heroes, when our golden age of hip hop was popping off, those were young. I mean, KRS-One was like 18. He looked like he was older, but he was 18. I don't know how old Rakim was, because he was very mature for his age. But these are young adults who are not business savvy. So the industry continues to turn back the clock. Every 8 or 9 years, they will continue, you know what I mean? Like they did it in 2012 with Chief Keef, right? They set the clock back and gave the game to a 16-year-old, right? They basically made him, a hot nigga, because of his contract with Interscope was like $6 million. So of course people started looking and was like, oh, and then he subsequently, right, he fathers a whole fucking generation, right? Because a lot of the young 20-year-olds of today and the 30-year-olds, that's their hero. That's the big homie to them, Chief Keef, right? Who was like 16 when he got on. But the reason why, yeah, Lil Wayne was 11, right? Yeah, hip hop is 46. No, I'm 40. Hip hop is 48 years old, I believe. And yesterday the day that I saw Brand Nubian, right? The day that I saw Brand Nubian, because there's a controversy about hip hop's birthday. Is it August 11th? And things of that nature. But I'm not here for that right now. But hip hop is like 48 years old, right? It was born in 73. Right? 49, okay, hip hop is 49, right? Like San Francisco. And the record labels willingly, right, from the executive all the way down to the A&R, all the way down to, everybody that's a part of these labels, that willingly rob people, right? Because one of my pet peeves and one of my hangups is, how the fuck is hip hop 49 years old and y'all still, and the youth are still being fleeced and robbed, right? Why isn't the OGs interceding and stepping in, right? And helping them? Take these niggas to lunch. Because the OGs would be like, oh, these little niggas don't listen. You not savvy enough if they not listening to you, brother, man. You got to be a little more savvy, bro. Take them to lunch, fly them somewhere, book them niggas for a show. You become a promoter, book them for a show, and then debo them backstage. Talk to them, find out who their managers is, pull up on their block. Stop being so scary. You owe it to them, because when you were their age, you got jerked and whatnot. So how the fuck you claim that you care about somebody, but the same perpetual cycle continues to happen time after time after time after time? If I keep hearing the same niggas say the same thing, oh, I didn't know what the industry was about until I became older. Oh, it took me 10 years to figure this out. Oh, yeah, my first deal, I got raped, but I figured it out later on. Y'all just letting these people bend y'all over like this. And these old dudes that got bent over, right? It's the same type of thing in abuse. right? It's the same type of behaviors. It's a predatory type of behavior. Oh, because I got done dirty, right? Oh, because I got no Vaseline, right? Shit. I'm gonna let it happen to you. This is Willie Lynch in the flesh, right? Right? You had these old motherfuckers on the slave farms and whatnot. They, you know, they could have hipped the youth to certain things and whatnot, but they let the motherfuckers walk right into the traps too, with the slave master or the overseer. Because it happened to them, and then they wind up becoming predators too, right? Like Mason Betha, right? The same person who who claims that P. Diddy or Puff Daddy did him dirty, what does he wind up doing? And this nigga said that he was supposed to be a pastor, so you would think that he had some type of empathy or sympathy or compassion for younger artists. What did he turn around and do? He went and did the same thing to Fabio Foreign, right? He raped him. You know what I'm talking about? He gave him a contract that was a slave contract, and he signed this nigga for $5,000, right? So you would think that you would think that he would do the next artist better than what was done to him. No, he's determined to go and do the same fucking thing to somebody else that was done to him, rather than fix it, right? So it's showing you, it's very apparent that these old heads, they got they got jerked out of their deals and whatnot. They don't care about the younger generation because these motherfuckers are not pulling them to the side. And you don't hear too many success stories about young artists that were able to negotiate a contract and break the system. There's no disruptors. These niggas are not disruptors. They all playing along. They are not disruptors. They're not disrupting the system. It's a handful of people. A Nipsey Hussle was a disruptor. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle, who just got his Walk of Fame on Hollywood and things of that nature. And it's his birthday. Happy C-Day to the motherfucking crib. Okay? Rise in power, Ermias. Right? But he was a disruptor to a degree. There's an artist named Russ, R-U-S-S. He's sort of like a disruptor. There's a few disruptor, but they're far and few between. A lot of these niggas is just, you know, happy ass slaves. You know what I mean? And they're not even happy. But they're contracted and they're underneath a spell. They got these motherfuckers in a mason jar. You know what I mean? They signing away their whole rights. They signing their spirit cooking them. Never to be the same. You know? A lot of these artists lose something in the wash. I don't know what it is, but it's like they give up a part of themselves. You know? I don't see too many glow ups where I'm honestly like, yo, this person looks like they're getting they're rising up in their spirit and whatnot, and they're becoming a stronger person. I don't be seeing that in these industry cats. I see that they're getting chipped away. I'm seeing holes in their auras and whatnot. They look like they're diminished. They look famished in a way. You know what I mean? Spiritually famished. They look like they're hungry for some righteousness, as opposed to when they get dropped from a label and they get on their own and whatnot, and they start living their independent life and whatnot. Then you start to see remnants of their old self coming back, and you be like, oh, this nigga look like, you know, he's functioning properly now. So if there's any artists that are out there listening to me, and I'm not going to discourage you from signing a deal or getting a publishing deal or a distribution deal, I don't want to take anybody's dreams away from them because, you know, we niggas, you know what I mean? We black folk, whatever you want to call us and whatnot. And there's some people from when they was 1 year old, they born into hip hop, and this all they want to do is be on a label and be on tour and be famous and all of this stupid shit. I'm here to let you know, right? Be very cautious, my friend. That's the best advice that I could give you. And get you a lawyer to watch a lawyer so you don't go broke. You know what I mean? Learn the game. Learn the industry that you're in. Learn the business, my friend. Not just how to put words together. Learn the business. Join a coalition of some motherfuckers that can protect you. But please think about, give it some thought. You know what I mean? Give it some thought about what it is that I was sharing about these ideas and these concepts, right? The constant bombardment. Because what is drill music, right? And how did the drill music take over, and how did the crime and the murders begin to go out of the roof? I'm gonna share this with you. Drill music has no conflict resolution whatsoever. So drill music, right, in the culture or the lifestyle of drill music, outside of getting fly, wearing designer, hopping out of foreigns, popping bottles, wearing Gucci, no, not the Gucci links, the Cuban links and shit like that. Outside of that, the idea and the concept is, if you got beef with a nigga, there's no conflict resolution. It's murder. You gotta knock them off. There's nothing, there's no three ways to it. There's only one way to handle it. You gotta catch a body. So once this idea and concept begin to permeate the mind of young black men out there playing fucking Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Black Ops. Once that shit became law, or once that became the modus operandi, then you started to see the bodies drop left and right. You could go on World Star. They got a whole fucking section where it's just nothing but drill hits. You know what I mean? Because they always kill somebody in front of a camera, right? So when the idea and the concept permeated and took over the other idea and concept that was prevalent, which was, if you get into it with somebody, right, you don't necessarily have to kill that person. Y'all could work it out. You might have to knuckle up and whatnot, or there might have to be an intervention, right? Even in the gang cultures, there was interventions, but in the drill culture, there is no interventions. Nobody could get in between that, right? I have yet to see anybody from Chicago or New York or any one of those places with drill, Philadelphia, I haven't yet to see some of the big OGs or the big names basically create a peace treaty and help them brothers stand down off of their quote unquote killing sprees and catching the, and keeping up with the scoreboard and whatnot. No, I've seen the opposite of that. I've seen body after body after body pile up, right, of these young men and whatnot. And Spirit is telling me somebody very famous is going to die soon off of this shit right here. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people with their names ain't that big and whatnot, but a big name is going to be served up in a minute. There's no conflict resolution in drill. So drill culture spilled over just into black culture. You don't have to be a drill artist. You don't have to be you don't have to be part of one of these drill teams and whatnot. You don't have to be part of these gangs. It's the mentality. It's the idea and the concept that I have an op, right? Motherfuckers didn't call their enemies ops before, but now you got an op. And if you have an op, there is no peace treaty. They running down on niggas with their mamas with them. They running down. I seen a nigga get Peter roll with his baby in the car, bro. They bodied him with his baby right there, right? I seen a video in Miami where they shot the nigga 70 something times in his car with the baby in the front seat. God bless the child. He must have been covered and protected because he didn't get shot. But this is what's happening, right? So now in Atlanta, right, I was just looking at the statistics of the murder rates and everything. I was reading a report that they put out. The majority of the murders that occur in Atlanta are stemming from arguments and disagreements, right? And then another one is road rage, right? That shit is like number 3 cause of death, right? Cause of violent death. The number 3 cause of violent death in Atlanta is fucking road rage, right? A nigga cut you off, motherfuckers, it's, you know what I mean? I had somebody pull a hammer on me in 2020, quiet as kept. I didn't share that before, but yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Motherfucker pointed that shit right at the window, bro, from his car. And all he had to do was pull the trigger. And you know what I mean? I'd have been Peter roll because it was a big whammy. So they drive crazy out here. Motherfuckers is they don't have I don't know who gave them a license. You know what I'm talking about? But it's based off of the lack of conflict resolution. Motherfuckers is just ready to go. They on go right here. You feel me? They on go. So people is out here arguing and getting bodied and whatnot. People is having disagreements and getting bodied, laid out. They not dealing with conflict resolution. They pulling up on a scooter and they spraying the scene. So that's what I'm talking about when I say the ideas and the concepts are destroying us. And it has to be a balance, right? We have to interject some type of counter measures, right? Because what I know about ideas and concepts that they could be, they just, they devolve. They devolve. You know what I mean? So the poor decisions that people are making, the poor thinking and shit like that, it's just gonna get worse if it's not addressed. It's just gonna get worse. So there needs to be a disruption in the music. There needs to be a disruption in entertainment. There needs to be a disruption in the culture. There needs to be a disruption in the fucking nightclub scenes. Like all of this shit needs to be up fucking rooted, bro, because it's headed nowhere fast. Real talk, all around the world, damn near. It's headed nowhere fast. Last time I checked, niggas was supposed to be on a power run. We supposed to be on a marathon. How the fuck you gonna be on a marathon and you out there clipping each other? You go into jail, this person going to the grave and whatnot. How is there power in that? Who's gonna respect that? And you don't put in work on the people that need to get work put in on. You know what I mean? You niggas is secretly scared of George Zimmerman and people that look like him type shit. We have to change how we perceive ourselves. I mean, I belong to a network in a community where we were able to see ourselves in the brightest light. We were able to see ourselves. We have so many teachers that come amongst us, right? Every other day and give us all of the tools that we need to help us see ourselves and love ourselves. We got all of the researchers coming through. We got mad books and shit like that. We got documentaries out the wazoo to help us figure out who we are. And what do we do with that? We started arguing about it. My God is left-handed. No, my God is pigeon-toed. My God is cockeyed. You know what I mean? My God is on a mountain. My God is on a cloud. All of the debates and whatnot. Niggas found a way to fuck that up. You feel me? Niggas found a way to fuck up knowing yourself. So when you would say that, yeah, just we gotta change how we see ourselves. Like I said, I'm from a place where people are calling each other's gods and goddesses and empresses and all of that, and they treat each other worse than people who are calling each other nigga, bitch, hoe, and all of these other things. You know what I'm talking about? The way that they talk about each other, the way that they talk to each other, right? The way that they talk about their elders, the way that they backdoor each other and backstab each other. Bro, this shit right here. I tell people all the time, if you're not ready for this, if you're not ready to have your fucking heart broken into pieces, don't even waste your time over here because this shit is gonna let you down one or two times. It's gonna let you down before it lets you up. You have to be prepared. If you're gonna walk this walk, and I'm specifically talking to people who want to get into this arena as a teacher. I can't speak for the brothers and sisters that are out there as students because I run into a lot of people, right? And they have some wonderful stories that they tell me. They have some wonderful, wonderful what do you call that? Confessions and shit like that. And it warms my heart. Just yesterday, I was building with a sister, right? I don't know if she want me to say her name, but I'll say it anyway. Sister Risha, right? And I was at the Reggae Fest, and me and this beautiful sister, we was building and whatnot. You know what I mean? And we built for about 2 hours, and she helped. She don't know how therapeutic her conversation was to my spirit, right? Because she was telling me how much I helped her and whatnot, and she was helping me. You know what I mean? In that moment, she was helping me by just sharing with me how impactful, the teachings of both me, my brother Blue, my brother KT, the Arch Degree, Mama Pill, and people that are part of our network have been to her brother Rich, his channel and whatnot. So I can't necessarily say that the students are going to go through some of these things. You know what I mean? A lot of the students are able to navigate these murky waters and whatnot and work on themselves and not get caught up in shit that they don't have no business getting caught up in. But if you want to get into this, if you want to get on these stages, if you want to get in front of these cameras, if you want to put your name out there, then you got to prepare yourself for everything that's going to come with it. You know what I mean? They drilling over here. It's just different. You know what I mean? You get drilled by the Obia man or by a Bruja. You know what I'm saying? They'll drill you differently, but they still drilling over here. You know, backbiting, crossing people, doing all kind of crazy shit. It's dangerous in these parts. So I'm just forewarning you. Be prepared. You know, be prepared. You feel me? You got some sophisticated savages that you're gonna have to deal with. Be prepared, and be prepared for anything. Damn near. Be prepared for anything, and and be on your use discernment, utilize discernment, and observe. Just watch. You know what I'm talking about? Be the owl on the branch. Just watch people. Watch how they move. You know what I'm saying? Watch who does what they say that they're gonna do. It's a lot of things to look out for. But you'll know. You'll know. And to be honest with you, it got a lot to do with fame. It got a lot to do with all of the shit that conscious people say that they're not really into. You know what I mean? The hypocrisy. Motherfuckers want to be famous. They want to be known. They want to be the big man on campus, the head nigga in the HNIC. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be your leader. Everybody wants to low key be the savior when there is no fucking saviors. So, you know, this is the segment of the show where we wind it down. You feel me? This is the segment of the show where we get to winding things down because, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? I don't know about the next man and whatnot. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You know what I mean? Because people think that this whole thing is about men and women on some perfection. No, that's not what I see. I see some perfectly flawed human beings who are working through their issues in real time, and they have been bestowed gifts and talents, and they're sharing that. Some people have gifts of speaking, some people have gifts of researching, some people have the orator gift. They're griots. They could tell stories and whatnot. Some people have healing hands. They have the gift of healing. You feel me? Some people have the gifts of being visionaries. They could envision things, and they could paint these pictures. They could help you escape reality and whatnot. There's people got gifts, and they're sharing them gifts, but that don't make them perfect. That doesn't make people perfected or better than you, right? People be elevating their teachers over them, right? And once you do that to somebody whose ego is fragile, you better believe that they're gonna take advantage of you. If somebody who don't even see themselves as worthy, you pull up and you putting them on a pedestal and you making them feel bigger than how they feel themselves, you damn right they're gonna take advantage of you. Cause you showed your hand, you know? So they might vampire, they might energy vampire you, or they might take full advantage of you. It just depends, you know? And I'm not telling you not to show love to nobody and not to give props to anybody and not to even be excited when you see somebody who you've been looking at on the internet, for all of these years and whatnot. But you gotta show some type of quote unquote, you know what I mean? You gotta stand on your own. Gotta stand on your own, you know? Just can't be no. Mm-mm. You gotta practice some sort of balance in your approach. Yeah, discernment is the word, but I'm looking for another word, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean? You know, you know what I mean. So I ain't gonna talk you out of death. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna talk you out of death. I think I've spoken enough and shared enough and was transparent enough. And hopefully this will help somebody. You know what I mean? Ultimately, what I would want us to walk away with is, we have the ability to change our minds. We have the abilities to decide what ideas and what concepts that we're going to let infiltrate our minds, because your mind is impressionable. You think your mind is in between your ears and whatnot, but it's not. It's your brain, and that's not what I'm talking about. Man is mental. I'm talking about your mind, right? So we should be very uh quote unquote, cautious about some of the shit that we are allowing our quote unquote um our ears to hear, our eyes to see, shit like that, you know. The regular precautionary shit, man. Mind what the fuck, mind your diet. You know what I mean? Mind what you eat. You know what I mean? Because you are what you eat, type shit. You know, it might benefit us if we were to change our quote unquote intake for something a little bit lighter, right? You know, I don't know. You got to figure that out your own. You know what I mean? I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure it out myself. So how the hell am I going to tell you something that I'm trying to figure out? You know, so it is what it is. Once again, I will be in Virginia Friday with Blue Pill. The good brother Sauce God will be out there. We're going to be joined by my good brother Sir Bay, and we'll be doing some monumental things and whatnot. I'm going to be doing the Facts Initiative 2022, which is an acronym for food, art, clothing, technology, and shelter, right? And there's a lot of new things in those fields that we have to talk about. This initiative is really based off of us really coming together and making some shit happen. It's in the field of social entrepreneurism. So, I'm dealing with solutions, I'm dealing with social entrepreneurism, I'm dealing with, assisting brothers and sisters on how to come together and make some things happen and whatnot, start up their businesses, start up their startups, how to get investments, how to get funding, and all of these things. It's all doable. It's all in our hands. You know what I mean? These are just conversations that we need to have more of, so the information could be more permeate. It could permeate a little bit more and whatnot. You know what I mean? We talk about so many other things, but if we were to talk about solutions more often, then I really feel that we will begin to see that shit manifest at a faster pace. So that's it for me. I'm going to sleep early, you know what I mean? Because I've been trying to wake up very early and shit like that, get a start on the day. It's been a pleasure being with y'all. I appreciate every single one of y'all. It's about 500 people plus. Hit the like button. Hit the Cash App. Cash App is pinned right there. Money sign Phil Moreland. Go to ktluniversity.com and get your tickets. We got something coming up next weekend in New York with A.A. Rashid. It's a brand new masterclass, new information, new worksheets, new workbooks, new treats. You know, the brother always drops a book or something during his masterclass. We got all of that ready for y'all. We'll be in New York City the end of August. Tickets are there. The tickets for this right here is on Eventbrite. All you have to put is the Facts Initiative and it will come up. The tickets are very affordable. Take advantage of that. All right. We're not trying to break no pockets on the road. So hit that up. The event that we have this Sunday in PG, that's free. So just pull up to that. That's free 99 at Everlasting Life, Capitol Heights, Maryland, Sunday, 2 to 5 p.m. Me, Blue Pillar, and the good brother Sir Bay will be in Maryland, in the DMV, Maryland, Capitol Heights, MD, which is also PG County. That's Sunday. That's the 21st. Friday will be in Richmond, uh, right here. What's the address? Let me see. What's the address? Give me a minute. I'll give you the address real quick. Mhm. And the address is going to be the Black Iris Gallery. Black Iris Gallery. Okay? Black Iris Gallery. So pull up to the Black Iris Gallery. If you live in Richmond or if you're on the way to Richmond, you could Google it. It's not Black Iris, like IRIS, Black Iris Gallery, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday, right after work. Come and chop it up. We'll have merch and we'll be chopping it up with the fam and lamb. Okay. There'll be performances, it's education, and it's also entertainment. Great place to network, to see people who you probably haven't seen in a while, to meet new people. You know, all of that is at play. We encourage you and we welcome you to come and spend a day with us. And we look forward to seeing you. And with that being said, y'all, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Y'all be dangerous, be safe out there, travel light, travel, travel safely, man. All right. And we'll see you Third Eye Thursdays. All right. We'll be broadcasting probably live from Virginia on Thursday.